Welcome everyone. Today I would like to tell you all about Resident Evil 9, also known as Requiem, the next mainline entry in the iconic franchise. Prepare, because this will blow you. In January 2026, Grace Ashcroft, daughter of the investigative journalist Alyssa Ashcroft, an FBI analyst and orphan, is sent in back to investigate strange deaths at and near the infamous Runwood Hotel, the place her mother had been killed. She gathers her things and leaves the Chicago area by train to Jasper, the next city to the west of Raccoon City, or what remains of it. She does not like to eat in the morning, so she stops at Grill 14 to have lunch. The hotel is in the vicinity. She plans to spend 1 to 2 hours at the venue, so she does not book a place to stay. A police officer greets her at the scene and lets her inside. Grace's clearance allows her to go in alone. When she finally revisits the place, she receives flashbacks that make her remember about a file her mother had on during the feral night. She, as if by accident, finds herself in a hall where the old painting still resides. She remembers that the file was hidden behind a frame. Without any thought, Grace pulls it back out and wants to inspect it, but hears a weird noise coming from a guest bathroom next to the stairwell. She checks it, but it's just a rat. She goes back to looking at the file and is shocked. Alyssa dug out that Umbrella went bankrupt 2 years prior to the Raccoon City incident, and the United States government, and more specifically the Vice President's team, worked closely with the conglomerate and took over all operations alongside the financial help of someone under the alias AW. The outbreak and everything that happened is really the government's job. They wanted to create a bioweapon that would give them the power, financial monopoly, and blackmail opportunities. When Grace realizes the plot, she gets knocked out by the now infested police officer that let her in. He seems to be controlled and mutters strange phrases. His skin appears to be grayish and black substance appears in the areas of his mouth, nose, and eyes. The game presents a black screen. We can see a man sitting and drinking whiskey at a vacation venue in North America. The sun is shining, the water is smooth, and he is looking at his phone. Suddenly, a concierge walks up to him and says, "Sir, a lady is waiting for you by the main hall. Are you expecting anyone?" The blonde man says, "No," but he wonders who that could be. "Well, she says that you knew she was coming to meet you and she is an old friend. Dark hair, red dress, sir." "Bingo," says Leon. He knows what's coming. "Enjoying your stay, Grandpa?" Ada teases him. "Enjoying your meds, Ada? I know you can't stay young forever. I wouldn't trust no side effects drugs." "You have a job," she says. "I don't do jobs." A Raccoon City survivor's kid is investigating the government in the area. "She went missing last night. She's a rookie at FBI. You really don't give a shit?" After a while, Leon accepts but demands that Ada stays out of it. "Of course," Ada says with a twisted smile. Leon takes off on his motorcycle. The screen goes black. Grace wakes up on a gurney, panicked, shocked. She manages to break free from the machine and sees that someone was extracting her blood. She needs to calm down because she will die if something goes wrong. She leaves the room and finds a key that led her into another small patient room. She meets a monstrous creature that cannot enter the light. When she finds a way to open a barred corridor, the monster tries to grab her back into the darkness, but fails, and Grace is left to live. She enters the floor hall. Papers on a wallboard say Rhodes Hill Chronic Care Center. She remembers this name. Rhodes Hill is right next to Raccoon City, in the Arklay County. Why the hell was she brought into Raccoon? She hears a woman scream, "Code 6." She knows she must run away. She enters the corridor on the other side of the hall and sees the woman and two small girls dressed in white, 18th century robes with ribbons and strangely light hair pass into the corridor which she woke up by. Grace continues on in the west corridor, and at a clearing she can see a big glass with a room behind it. There are many small girls, about 10 to 12 years old, all dressed the same. In shock, she does not notice that one of them stands right in front of her behind a glass. The child puts her hand on a glass, and Grace crouches down to see her up close. The child seems emotionless, pale, and what terrifies the protagonist is the fact that the child has large sharp teeth covered in blood. Grace pulls away from the position and proceeds on the corridor. She walks out of it and enters what seems to be the main hall of the center. There are two stairways on each side of the reception, goddess statues by the sides, and the tiles say RH at the center of the Art Deco floor. There is a safe at the empty reception. Grace finds a metal piece and bends it. Being handy, she pulls out open the glass-stained safe and can see two handguns. She takes one and some ammunition. She has had training and her only chance is to go forward and don't stop. She can hear classical music from the upper floors and is bewildered by the place. She takes the stairs and between the floors there is a door that seems of importance. The engraving says, "I open by your heart." She continues on to the upper floors. Everything is dark, the music seems distant, and the only light source is the crimson red emergency light. She sees a windowed office in a hall and enters through the open space. Inspecting the drawers, she finds a heart-shaped key and knows what she has to do. Upon collecting the key, she can hear a very weird and moisty sound. Something seems to walk but also slither with mucus. She takes a flashlight from the desk and points it in the direction of the noise. It's a walking zombie, gray, covered in black liquid. Mouth babbling, eyes white. Seems like even for a zombie it's too much. She turns away and tries to run, but there is a zombie in each direction. She has to shoot. She shoots all of them, most of the bullets missing. She thinks it's over, but one of them ambushes her and she falls down with the black liquid dripping on her face, the zombie trying to lick her and bite into her. She thought zombies want flesh, but this one seems almost like an infection weapon. She tries to shoot, but there are no bullets. The zombie vomits black substance on her face and dies. Grace is horrified. She brushes it off her face and coughs, pukes it on the floor. She can feel it in her stomach. She finds some sanitizer and tries to vomit more. She can't seem to finish. She thinks she's gonna pass out. When in complete darkness, her skin becomes to glow. Her hands, legs, face begin to emit light and smell rather weird. She can see herself in a mirror, and after a while it goes back to normal. The pain is gone. She feels like she did before. What happened? She goes back down and pushes the key into the hall and opens the door. There is a dark corridor that leads down. There are no lights, just the stairs. They seem very old. Grace goes in with a lighter that she found in the office. It feels like forever when she reaches the bottom. Lights automatically appear, and in the center she can see something that she never thinks she would see. The umbrella logo and a big chair with a gramophone placed on the table. The chair turns and reveals an old, moldy man. His eyes are black and his teeth create a smile that freezes people. "Miss Ashcroft?" he says. The screen goes black. We cut to the moment Leon arrives at the city limit. He goes by the debris and finds the ruins of the RPD. He leaves his bike and stands in front of it. Emotions appear and all memories go back. The fire, the death, the screams, the people, one night. All because a big business wants power. He has many guns on him, but he picks a magnum with a long silver barrel. He enters the RPD, but the main entrance is impossible to penetrate. He finds a spot that leads to B1. He enters it and pushes through the vent and into the B1 corridor, right next to the parking lot. The smell of smoke, stone, and ash is all around. He goes up via the east hallway and finally finds himself in the main hall. A lot of the building is ruined, but enough has survived to be able to move around. He can see something glinting on a goddess statue head. He shoots it down. The hull headpiece falls down and an emblem appears before Leon. On it, the umbrella logo lies prominent and the numbers 1967 are engraved. On the other side it says RHCCC. He has no idea what that is. He leaves the place to find mutated creatures between lickers and zombies outside. He takes them out and goes on to inspect the city. Where is it? He stops at an intersection and can see a subway entrance. The sign says Rose Hill, RH, so the place is in the area. He takes the highway to Rhodes Hill but is unable to find anything. An old street sign says Rhodes Hill Chronic Care Center, 1 mile. Leon turns left and arrives at the enormous location. He enters it and can see the reception that Grace was at before. Lights go out. Monsters like the big one that chased Grace appear. Leon has to run because that's too much. He is bitten and passes out. Going back to Grace, the man smiles with joy once more and says, "I've been watching you. You're not like the others, you're special." "What the fuck are you talking about?" Grace screams. The man seems to be in euphoria. "There's no escaping your destiny," he says and shows Grace his hand. He has a ring that says A plus G. Alyssa and George. George Hamilton. Alyssa had an affair with the doctor and later they covered it up. "That's impossible," Grace screams. "This freak cannot be her father. He killed her mom." "Why did you kill her?" "I'm sorry, Grace, but my pawns don't always do exactly what I want. This was collateral." "How can you say that? She's dead." "Dead." Grace breaks down and the man walks away into the dark hallway. Grace follows him and sees many people in scientific tubes filled with liquid and IVs. Grace drops her gun when she sees what's in front of her. There's Alyssa in a tube, sleeping, burned, and with missing skin patches. There is a scientist, blonde woman, Annette Birkin, whom Grace recognizes from past press pictures. Many tyrants, G embryos, a Wesker clone, and random people. I've tried to help Alyssa, but the results were unstable. That thing you saw earlier is a clone of hers. Those children and weird monsters are experiments that keep this place safe. I'm using this forgotten umbrella lab to try to reverse what's done, but I can't help it. Alyssa is kept inside the tank because she and others might die, and so will I if you do not cooperate. I need the daylight protein. I need to cure the mutated T virus from my body, and then I can make the government pay and revive your mother. I'm so close. Oh my god, that won't work. This is sick, Grace screams. Understand that this is the only way. I have to do this. A horde of zombies and miscreants rush at Grace from behind a hidden doorway, and they bite into her. She begins to glow and passes out. The creatures seem to go back to human form. After a while, one of them screams and rolls on the floor, finally exploding with black blood and bubbles coming out of his corpse. All 20 subjects explode and a big mess is left on the floor of the lab. George approaches Grace, who begins to regain consciousness. He pulls his hands out to her. "If they can't carry the gene, I have to do this." Black and slick tentacles emerge from his mouth and he wants to suck the blood from Grace directly via her throat. Before he can do this, Leon appears and shoots a big bang through his head. The man stands up with half of his head and smiles with joy. You freaks never learn, do ya? Leon taunts and empties 12 magnum shots on the man's head and body. The scientist literally disemerges into black liquid and quickly evaporates, leaving a black stain. We have to save the people here, Grace says, getting up and being a little fluorescent. She points at her mother in a glass tank and tries to find any research with Leon. She learns that only living merged cells can alter the DNA of a host. What she has to do is she has to put her blood via an IV to merge with Alyssa's. She takes out the IV and connects it to her arm. She screams in agonizing pain and collapses from possible infection and dehydration. Alyssa's body starts to glow a little and her condition seems stable. She seems to understand the situation. This isn't over yet. The daylight gene is similar to mold used by the Connections and Umbrella. The T virus mutated the mold, thus allowing the control of zombies. Now, the US government has thousands of fast, skilled, controlled zombies to make an attack. I know that they cloned STARS members like Redfield and Valentine. They have Wesker DNA and will try to get Grace's gene. If we don't stop them, they will cause complete global saturation. Leon, Grace, and Alyssa decide to use the underground train to leave the city and plan their moves. They stop at Alyssa's old friend, Barry. He's shocked to see her and to see them all like that. He says that someone else was just visiting as well. The bad bitch in red dress appears and offers help. We have to spread the daylight gene into the air with a helicopter, Barry. That's on you. Then we fight the clones and have to wait for the big dog to appear. The mutated cannot kill me or Grace, but you are susceptible. You must be careful. They are coming here because they know that Grace is here, and this is their only chance. Alyssa makes the plan. In the end, all the OG characters fight the government in a raccoon area, and Alyssa's head is squashed by a tyrant. Leon is killed by the helicopter that Barry got killed in mid-air, and Ada is impaled by a spike from a top of a building. Grace survives to tell the truth to the public and learn that Chris and Jill were killed by BSAA, all victims are impossible to help, and that it's just her now. The game closes with a shot of Grace with umbrella necklace and her twisted smile as she drives away on a motorbike.